Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we are actually talking about the Colonial pipeline hack. This is a major one on par with SolarWinds and a whole bunch of others, and so this really requires me to do a PowerPoint presentation to keep this all straight. I will continue to keep you updated on exactly what we know here, but let's get going. This is what we know as of today, May 10th, 2021. And it is absolutely crazy, and I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. So here's what we know so far. First things first, this past Friday on 7 May, the Colonial pipeline was shut down due to a cyber attack. And basically, I'm quoting that from the New York Times, but you can pick up any major publication and pretty much figure that out. And if you're watching this or listening to this, you probably already know that we are in some dire straits right now because of this. Now, here's the basic TikTok of this. On Saturday, the 8th of May, the Department of Transportation basically issued a regional emergency declaration for 17 states, as well as Washington, D.C., to keep the fuel line supply open. Basically, easing up that restriction on trucking, since we have a pipeline here with Colonial that supplies basically 45% of all gasoline and jet fuel to the eastern United States. So that's a huge, huge thing. 2.5 million barrels a day. And it got shut down. So the states that were essentially affected, and you can see them here on the screen, Alabama all the way up to basically Virginia, this is a huge problem. This pipeline moves petroleum from the Gulf of Mexico across the eastern seaboard. And I have personally been receiving messages since I did my Breaches of the Week video yesterday, and the last thing I talked about was this massive Colonial pipeline hit. I've been hearing from people along the East Coast saying that it looks like gas is getting scarce, prices are rising, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a huge problem. And so if you are in any one of these states, plus Washington, D.C., brace yourself. Here in Chicago and Illinois, we're obviously not on that list, but I can tell you right now, I saw a massive price spike yesterday in gas when I went to fill up a car from the day before. And so this looks like it may affect the nation in terms of gas prices. Now, let's keep on rolling here, because on Sunday, yesterday, the 9th of May, Colonial said in a statement that its major fuel lines are offline. The smaller lines are starting to become operational. Obviously, a very good thing. And also on Sunday, the Commerce Secretary of the United States basically said it's an all hands on deck to resume operations. One of the things I mentioned yesterday in my video was that if anything is going to spur the federal government of the United States into action against a cyber attack, it's when the critical infrastructure of the entire United States is compromised or under attack. And that is literally what we are experiencing right now. That is a huge, huge problem. But we have some information on the attackers. And here we go, because on Monday, the FBI confirmed that the Dark Side ransomware gang is actually responsible for this. And obviously, they are continuing to work with the company, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is going to be a huge thing. But the Dark Side ransomware gang has been identified as the people that are doing this, according to the Wall Street Journal and other sources out there right now. And so with this, let's actually talk about DarkSide's response here, because there is actually quite a bit here. Now, they're basically, if you didn't know, they are selling their malware as a service or ransomware as a service. So basically anybody can go ahead and buy this and then use their property. And on a message posted on the dark web, they essentially said that, one of their customers is to blame, not them. They just sold the ransomware, not that that makes them any less culpable in my eyes. And so they're going to do a better job of vetting their clients going forward. I don't even know how you do that. But if you note the point there, it basically says, quote, "We are apolitical. We do not participate in geopolitics. Our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society. From today, we introduce moderation and check each company that our partners want to encrypt to avoid social consequences in the future." This tells me they are terrified, because it looks like the weight of the entire U.S. intelligence apparatus is going to come down on them like a ton of bricks, not to mention our partners with Interpol and other nations worldwide that are going to hunt these people down. And so they're saying, our bad, we don't care about your politics. We are not doing this on behalf of anybody. We just want cash. And so we sell it to the highest bidder, and we're going to change that. I think that's an issue. Now, there has been, according to the screen here and Bloomberg, that some evidence has emerged linking dark side to Russia or elsewhere in Eastern Europe. And I think that's something that's going to come very heavily to light. And as I mentioned before, you know, they say they're apolitical, but if they have ties to things like Russian intelligence and that comes to light, there are going to be serious repercussions, not just for dark side, but I think also for the Russian government as well. That is basically known to be, I'll be honest, rather good at cyber attacks. And for the record, this group has been known, at least according to the former CTO of CrowdStrike, as a Russian-speaking group that popped up last summer. So we will see. Just because they're simply Russian doesn't mean they have ties to the government. Obviously, there are plenty of cyber criminals worldwide, including here in the United States, that have zero links to the government as well. So that in and of itself is no reason to blame, the Russian government at this time. But this is essentially what we know thus far. It's not nearly as much as, with Sunburst as we were packing that for SolarWinds, but I want to keep everybody up to date on this because I think this is going to be, as I've mentioned, a motivating factor in actually getting the US government essentially to do something about these kinds of cyber attacks. They've been weighing consequences and looking at basically enhancing cybersecurity for the federal government. We have the Department of Defense running the CMMC, or cyber maturity model certification. I cannot speak today, and I'm mired in CMMC work right now. But this is obviously a huge problem, and so, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on this one. This is a huge problem, but I think we are going to see, as I mentioned, the federal government get into action here. And so that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online and watch those gas prices. Thanks, everyone.